Hey everyone, got a new project here on the workbench. This is a 1986 Charvel Model 2. This is the very first year for the Charvel imported model series from Japan. And these are actually stellar guitars when they're in really good, when they're set up good. This one, a little bit suspect. Looks like it's been kind of stored inappropriately and played somewhat heavily over the years. But we'll go over a few things about this guitar. First of all, it's got the Kaler Fulcrum style bridge. It has the original Jackson pickup. I lifted, removed the screws and lifted it up and verified underneath. That's one of the original Jackson humbuckers, and you can see by the erosion there on the bobbin. This thing's definitely been played, as well as the whole body's been marked up just from the way it's either been stored or kept out of a case. I'm not sure, but I'm definitely going to go through this, give it a real thorough cleaning and a real thorough setup. But a cool story about this: when it first came in, I was looking, noticing that the strings were obviously really bad on it. It probably hadn't been changed in about 10 years or so. And I wanted to get those off right away, get the tension off the Floyd or the Kaler. So, obviously, in order to remove your strings and your tremolo, you have to take the springs out of the back. And so when I was taking off the back cavity for the tremolo, I noticed a name engraved as well as a social security number. And I thought, this could be one of those situations where, maybe the original owner did that back in 1986 in case, of a theft or, just some way to track down an owner, right? So um, I actually found the person. I'm not going to tell the name, but I was able to Google search the name, looked in a few, Facebook groups, a few obvious places for Jackson Charvel owners, and thought, you know what, there's a chance this could be the one guitar that got away from this guy a couple of decades ago or something. And I thought, man, if that were me, wouldn't it be cool if somebody reached out to me, because I actually have a guitar that I sold, man, 15, 20 years ago, and wish I'd never done that, and I would hope that one day I could get a chance to buy it back. So I thought it would be the only right thing to do to try to track this person down and let them know what I have and see if it was ever stolen from them or if it was something they sold and regretted and wanted it back years later. So we exchanged contact info, had a great phone call with him. He is a session and touring guitar player based out of Nashville, but he plays in a country band or in a country act up in Canada. So for a very well-known artist, and he was really excited to hear about the guitar and really excited to hear that someone who cares for guitars found it and thought enough to give him a call. So he gave me the backstory on it, the history on it. He bought it brand new in 1986 out on the West Coast. He played in his early stages in college in his college bands with this guitar. Said he had real fond memories with it. Loved playing it. It was like the most money he could afford to spend on a guitar, and this was the one that he chose back then. So he had it for a few years, and moved along. Probably bought something else. Who knows? But anyway, I told him what my plans were originally were to turn this into like a military, one of those warbird graphics. And I said, but before I even do anything on this, I want to make sure that this isn't something that you would like to have a chance to reacquire for yourself. In other words, I'm not going to sit here and hold on to this thing if it's something he wanted to, buy back or purchase from me, or if it ever been stolen. Like, I just wanted to do the right thing by him and let him know that I was definitely open to whatever he wanted. But he was very grateful for that, but said, "Hey, you've got my blessing. Keep it and." Do what you're going to do with it. So after looking at basically the whole shape of this thing and understanding the originality of this guitar, I've decided not to do the Warbird graphic, and instead I'm just going to clean this thing up as best I can. I'm just going to do probably like a light polish, some rubbing compound. I'm going to experiment with different, buffing pads and things of that sort to just make it look as clean as possible. And then, of course, we'll do a full neck treatment. We'll get the frets all nice leveled, crowned, polished up. and everything like that, and get this thing back in action. So other than that, and really once that's done, who knows, I may just move this along and look for another project to do the Warbird graphic on. But right now I got the Model 2 sitting here on the bench. We're just gonna slowly go through each component, which shouldn't be too difficult because these are pretty much bare bone guitars. We'll get the finish polished out and shined up as much as possible, and see if any of my compounds and buffing pads will take care of some of these deeper issues. So again, you can see the originality here. It still has the Made in Japan decal. It has the TM in the neck plate there next to the Charvel logo, as well as on the headstock graphic too. You can see it there. They switched to R, I think, after 1986. So this definitely confirms, in addition to the Kaler trim, that this was a first-year model. So stay tuned for updates, and let me know if you have any questions about this or any suggestions on how to get this thing looking clean. But these are some pretty mean guitars, and they were built to rock. So my goal here is just to put it back and get it back into its full glory. So stay tuned.